Good afternoon. This is All India Radio. I am Valsa Williams and with me is Abhishek Mukhopadhyay with the Midday News. The headlines. India achieves the major milestone of 100 crore COVID-19 vaccinations. Prime Minister says country witnesses the triumph of Indian science, enterprise and collective spirit of 130 crore Indians. President, Vice President, Home, Defence and other ministers laud the valuable contribution of the doctors, health and frontline workers for the landmark achievement in vaccination. Prime Minister Narendra Modi inaugurates Vishram Sadan at the National Cancer Institute in Jhajjar, says government strives to offer world-class medical infrastructure facilities for the people of the country. President Ramnath Kovind addresses inaugural function of the centenary celebration of Bihar Legislative Assembly building, says aspirations of the people should be taken care of and democratic values must be maintained. Union Home Minister Amit Shah reviews flood situation and relief work being undertaken in Uttarakhand. Minister of State for Home Nityanand Rai addresses the Police Commemoration Day parade in New Delhi, says India will never compromise on its sovereignty and security and those who pose a threat will be given a befitting reply. And Prime Minister Narendra Modi to share his thoughts with the people in the country and abroad in the Mann Ki Baat program on All India Radio on the 24th of this month. As India has created history by vaccinating 100 crore people against COVID-19, All India Radio salutes all the doctors, nurses, other frontline workers and all those who got vaccinated and made this possible. Even though the country has achieved this feat, we caution our listeners that the battle against COVID is not yet over. We appeal to our listeners to get fully vaccinated at the earliest and also help others get vaccinated. During the festival season, please follow these 3 simple steps. Wear a face mask, maintain 2 gaz ki duri for social distancing, focus on hand and face hygiene. For any COVID-related information and guidance, contact national helpline numbers 011-2397-8046 and 1075. And now the news in detail. India has created history by achieving the great milestone of administering 100 crore COVID vaccination doses this morning. India's build-up to achieve this historic feat has been monumental and momentous. This is being considered the biggest contribution to the fight against the virus and an even bigger tribute to all the frontline workers who worked 24/7 to ensure a smooth and safe process. Under the world's largest vaccination drive, as India touched the billion vaccination mark, close to 300 million people are fully vaccinated. The double vaccination coverage is more than the entire population of Indonesia, Pakistan or Brazil, the most populous countries in the world after China, India and the United States. In fact, it is close to the entire population of the US as well. At its peak, the country administered 25 million doses in a day, a world record. This is equivalent to the entire population of Australia. Over the past month, the vaccination has averaged close to 70 lakh doses every day. Again, this rate suggests that a country with a population of 25 million would receive their first doses within 3 to 4 days and be fully vaccinated within a few months.
The nationwide vaccination drive against COVID-19 began on the 16th of January this year. Healthcare workers were inoculated in the first phase. It was followed by the vaccination of frontline workers from 2nd of February onwards. Citizens over 60 years of age and those with comorbidities were enlisted for COVID-19 vaccination from 1st of March. In the next phase, India launched vaccination for all people over 45 years of age from the 1st of April. The government then decided to expand its vaccination drive by allowing everyone above 18 to be vaccinated from the 1st of May. And today, the historic milestone of 100 crore vaccination has been achieved. Vice President M. Venkaiah Naidu has congratulated Team India on the stupendous achievement of administering 100 crore doses. He appreciated all the frontline healthcare workers, scientists, vaccine manufacturers, central and state governments for their dedication and hard work in achieving this landmark feat. Prime Minister Narendra Modi has congratulated India on crossing 100 crore vaccinations. He expressed gratitude to the doctors, nurses and all those who worked to achieve this feat. In a tweet, Mr. Modi said that India has scripted history. He said the country is witnessing the triumph of Indian science, enterprise and collective spirit of 130 crore Indians. Home and Cooperation Minister Amit Shah has congratulated the nation for vaccinating over 100 crore people with the COVID-19 vaccine under the leadership of Prime Minister Narendra Modi. Mr. Shah described it as a historic and proud moment. Mr. Shah expressed his gratitude to all scientists, researchers and health workers of the country for their contribution in achieving this milestone. Defence Minister Rajnath Singh today said that India has achieved a great success in the ongoing fight against COVID-19. In a video message, Mr. Singh said,
प्रधानमंत्री श्री नरेंद्र मोदी जी के नेतृत्व में इतने कम समय में 100 करोड़ वैक्सीनेशन डोज देने के लक्ष्य को प्राप्त करके भारत ने अपनी संकल्प शक्ति का परिचय दिया है। इस लक्ष्य को प्राप्त करने पर मैं भारत के वैज्ञानिकों और मेडिकल रिसर्चर्स समेत पूरी मेडिकल फ्रेटर्निटी का हार्दिक अभिनंदन करता हूं। 100 करोड़ वैक्सीनेशन डोज भारत जैसे देश में जनता को लगा पाना एक रिमार्केबल अचीवमेंट है। पर हमें यहां रुकना नहीं है। जब तक देश के हर एक व्यक्ति को वैक्सीन के दोनों डोज नहीं लग जाते, न तो हम रुकेंगे न थकेंगे।
Union Health Minister Mansukh Mandavia has also congratulated the countrymen on the achievement of administering 100 crore doses of COVID vaccines.
प्रधानमंत्री जी के नेतृत्व में आज ही भारत ने 100 करोड़ कोविड वैक्सीन लगाने की बहुत बड़ी उपलब्धि हासिल की है। आज का दिन भारत के इतिहास में स्वर्णिम दिन के तौर पर दर्ज होगा। हमने 100 करोड़ वैक्सीन सिर्फ 9 महीने में लगाए। इस बड़ी उपलब्धि के लिए मैं अपने हेल्थ कर्मियों और नागरिकों को हार्दिक धन्यवाद करता हूं।
Information Broadcasting Minister Anurag Thakur has saluted the unparalleled contribution of India's efficient leadership, scientists and the dedication of health workers. He said that from the world's largest vaccination drive to the world's first ever DNA-based COVID-19 vaccine, New India continues to set new milestones.
Congratulations India on administering over 100 crore COVID-19 vaccine doses in such a short time span. And thank you Prime Minister Modi ji for the firm, clear and timely direction and for leading the world's largest vaccination drive. The nation stands together recognizing the great efforts of our health workers and frontline workers, scientists, researchers, vaccinators and above all, the people of the country who have come forward and displayed confidence in the country's vaccination drive. Thank you once again. Jai Hind.
BJP President J.P. Nadda has said that India has achieved 100 crore COVID-19 vaccinations in less than 10 months. Mr. Nadda said this shows the government's commitment towards safety of every person in the country. He thanked Prime Minister Narendra Modi and expressed gratitude towards healthcare and frontline workers. Mr. Nadda said apart from being an unprecedented achievement in the field of health, it is a symbol of India's potential on the global stage.
Chief Executive Officer of National Health Authority and Co-Win Platform Chief Dr. R.S. Sharma has said that Co-Win has played a crucial role in achieving 100 crore vaccinations by making the whole process systematic and smooth. Speaking exclusively to AIR News, Dr. Sharma said,
Today is a great day for our country and we have achieved this milestone of 1 billion vaccinations. 1 billion is actually more than the population of the entire Europe. And the real credit for this must go to our health workers, vaccinators, doctors and all our administrators working in the field who have toiled for 9 months to really achieve this whole target. And I think this will prove to be one of the best antidotes against COVID, this vaccination program. As our Prime Minister had said, this is the real kavach against Corona. So I think that's a great day for us.
Telangana Governor Dr. Tamilisai Soundararajan expressed immense happiness at reaching the 100 crore vaccination mark across the country, stating that it is a testimony to the great commitment of our doctors, medical fraternity and paramedical staff. She saluted all COVID warriors.
India's vaccination drive is a testimony to the great commitment, dedication and tireless effort of our doctors, healthcare workers and the government machinery of our country. I salute all the COVID warriors. India once again showed its capability to the world in fighting against the COVID-19 pandemic. I thank and salute the Indian scientists for coming out with our indigenous vaccines and avoiding any dependence on other countries for the vaccine.
Director of All India Institute of Medical Sciences, Bibinagar in Telangana, Dr. Vikas Bhatia expressed immense happiness over making the world record of India achieving the 1 billion vaccination mark. Speaking to AIR News, Dr. Bhatia said,
We completed 75% of the vaccination for the adult population in our country. But at the same time, we should stay very careful and see that nobody is left behind and everyone come forward for the vaccination. And let's ensure that each and every citizen of this country is vaccinated against this deadly pandemic disease.
100 monuments of the Archaeological Survey of India have been lit up to celebrate the 100 crore COVID vaccination coverage in the country. The monuments are illuminated in the colours of the national flag. Union Health Minister Mansukh Mandavia has launched a song and audiovisual film to celebrate India's milestone of 100 crore COVID-19 vaccinations.
कोरोना की काली आंधी जब काल बनकर उमड़ आई देश घिर गया भ्रम के भंवर में दहशत की सब पर छाई तब देश को भारी विपदा से बचाने को कोरोना महामारी के खौफ से टकराने को एक और नरेंद्र ने आगे बढ़कर देश की सामूहिक शक्ति को जगा दिया मानो विवेकानंद ने फिर से आकर देश के नौजवानों को ललकार दिया 130 करोड़ की महाशक्ति के नव जागरण से चहुंदित हो उठी जय जय देशवासियों में हौसला भर कहा नरेंद्र ने डरो मत कि तुम हो मृत्युंजय
The Union government has said that more than 103 crore 53 lakh COVID vaccine doses have been provided to states and union territories so far. Health Ministry today said that more than 10 crore 85 lakh unutilized vaccine doses are still available with the states, UTs and private hospitals to be administered. More than 48 lakh vaccine doses were administered in the last 24 hours. It said 18,454 new cases were reported in the country in the last 24 hours. India's active case load stands at 1,78,831. Daily positivity rate is at 1.48%. Recovery rate is currently at 98.15%.
As India achieved the historic 100 crore vaccinations mark from the northern frontiers of Himalayas, Ladakh is leading the country in the program. In the difficult terrains of Ladakh, the Union Territory Medical Department has shown exemplary dedication in successfully running the vaccination program, while 67% people in the age group of 18 to 44 years was inoculated. Nearly 90% of 45 to 59 age group were given the second dose. In the meantime, Kargil district reported no corona positive case consecutively for the second day. The medical department has celebrated the country's 100 crore mark of vaccination at various vaccination centres. In Leh, Tikse and Chuchot public health centres will be illuminated today to celebrate the historic milestone. The News Services Division of All India Radio will bring a special program in Hindi, 100 crore COVID Tikakaran ka Safar, Akashvani ke saath at 4:30 p.m, which will be broadcast again tonight from 9:30 p.m. Another special program, Lakshya Ki Or, will be put on air at 5:30 p.m. These programs can be heard on FM Gold channel and additional frequencies. The programs will also be available on our website, newsonair.com, and on our YouTube channel, News on AIR Official.
You are listening to the Midday News on All India Radio. A reminder of the headlines before we move on. India achieves the major milestone of 100 crore COVID-19 vaccinations. Prime Minister says country witnesses the triumph of Indian science, enterprise and collective spirit of 130 crore Indians. President, Vice President, Home, Defence and other ministers laud the valuable contribution of the doctors, health and frontline workers for the landmark achievement in vaccination. Prime Minister Narendra Modi inaugurates Vishram Sadan at the National Cancer Institute in Jhajjar, says government strives to offer world-class medical infrastructure facilities for the people of the country. President Ramnath Kovind addresses inaugural function of the centenary celebration of Bihar Legislative Assembly building, says aspirations of the people should be taken care of and democratic values must be maintained. Union Home Minister Amit Shah reviews flood situation and relief work being undertaken in Uttarakhand. Minister of State for Home Nityanand Rai addresses the Police Commemoration Day parade in New Delhi, says India will never compromise on its sovereignty and security, and those who pose a threat will be given a beef-eating reply. Prime Minister Narendra Modi to share his thoughts with the people in the country and abroad in the Mann Ki Baat program on All India Radio on the 24th of this month. For quick news updates around the clock, follow us on our Twitter handle at AIR News Alerts.
चलो मिलकर एक शुरुआत करें, चलो एक फैसला आज करें, मास्क नहीं तो टोकेंगे, कोरोना को रोकेंगे, चलो एक इरादा करते हैं, चलो कुछ वादा करते हैं, मास्क नहीं तो टोकेंगे, कोरोना को रोकेंगे.
Welcome back to the Midday News. President Ramnath Kovind today exhorted legislators of the Bihar Assembly to take a vow for the development of the state. Speaking at the inaugural function of the centenary celebration of the Bihar Legislative Assembly building, Mr. Kovind said aspirations of the people should be taken care of and democratic values must be maintained. The President said the Bihar Assembly has witnessed historical changes during its journey. Mr. Kovind said celebration of centenary of Bihar Assembly House is momentous as the country is celebrating Azadi Ka Amrit Mahotsav.
राज्य की जनता आप सभी जनप्रतिनिधियों को अपना भाग्य विधाता मानती है और उनकी आशाएं और आकांक्षाएं आप सब पर ही टिकी होती हैं। सभी देशवासियों में, जिनमें बिहार के निवासी भी शामिल हैं, अपने बेहतर भविष्य के लिए उनकी ललक दिखाई पड़ती है। मुझे विश्वास है कि आप सभी विधायकगण अपने आचरण और कार्यशैली से जनता की आशाओं को यथार्थ रूप देने का प्रयास करते रहेंगे।
The President said the country has created a milestone after completion of 100 crore doses of COVID vaccination in the country. Governor Phagu Chauhan, Speaker Vijay Kumar Sinha and Chief Minister Nitish Kumar also addressed the function. On this occasion, all the legislators, including former MLAs and members of Parliament, were invited for the function. The Assembly building hosted the inaugural session of the joint Bihar and Orissa Provincial Council on February the 7th, 1921.
Prime Minister Narendra Modi today said that the government is ensuring that all the new AIIMS that have been constructed have night shelters for the families of the patients. Inaugurating the Infosys Foundation Vishram Sadan at the National Cancer Institute Jhajjar campus of AIIMS New Delhi, Mr. Modi said accommodation is one of the biggest problems for those undergoing cancer treatment.
जितने नए एम्स बन रहे हैं वहां पर नाइट शेल्टर्स जरूर बने। अपनी बीमारी से परेशान मरीज और मरीज के रिश्तेदारों को थोड़ी सी भी सहूलियत मिल जाती है तो बीमारी से लड़ने का उनका हौसला भी बढ़ जाता है। ये सहूलियत देना भी एक तरह से सेवा ही है।
The Prime Minister asserted the National Cancer Institute will help benefiting thousands of people combating cancer and acquiring various therapies, medications and medical assistance. Mr. Modi said patients living in Delhi, NCR, Uttarakhand and Haryana can avail maximum benefits from this facility. The Prime Minister underlined a fruitful collaboration between the government and corporate world has resulted in building this institute that can scale the healthcare facilities for the people. He said government is striving to offer world-class medical infrastructure facilities for the people of the country, especially in the testing times of COVID-19. He said government is taking steps in reducing the price of over 400 cancer medications for optimum affordability to the poor.
ये सेवा भाव ही है जिसकी वजह से हमारी सरकार ने कैंसर की लगभग 400 दवाओं की कीमतों को कम करने के लिए कदम उठाए। ये सेवा भाव ही है जिसकी वजह से गरीबों को जन औषधि केंद्रों से बहुत सस्ती, बहुत मामूली कीमत में दवाएं दी जा रही और मध्यम वर्ग के परिवार जिनके घर में कभी साल भर दवाइयां लेनी पड़ती हैं, ऐसे परिवारों को तो साल में 10, 12, 15 हजार रुपयों की बचत हो रही।
Prime Minister Narendra Modi will share his thoughts with the people in the country and abroad in the Mann Ki Baat program on All India Radio on the 24th of this month. It will be the 82nd episode of the monthly radio program. The Prime Minister has invited people to share their ideas for this month's episode. People can share their views in the NAMO app or MyGov Open Forum.
Union Home Minister Amit Shah, who arrived in Dehradun last evening, will review the flood situation and relief work being undertaken in the hill state of Uttarakhand, which was ravaged by heavy rain. The Home Minister is conducting an aerial survey of the rain-affected areas of the state today. A high-level meeting has also been scheduled with senior officials at Jolly Grant in Dehradun, in which the Home Minister will take stock of the rescue and relief operations. On Police Memorial Day, Home Minister Amit Shah today bowed to all the brave soldiers who made the supreme sacrifice to protect the nation's sovereignty. In a tweet, Mr. Shah said, "The sacrifice and dedication of every policeman inspires people to serve the nation." He said the police force is a wonderful example of courage, restraint and diligence. Minister of State for Home Nityanand Rai has said that India will never compromise on its sovereignty and security, and those who pose a threat will be given a befitting reply. Mr. Rai said this while addressing the Police Commemoration Day parade at the National Police Memorial in New Delhi. He said the government is committed to equip the Central Police Forces with modern gadgets and weapons so as to tackle emerging challenges.
Let's listen to a special program, Azadi Ka Safar, highlighting the importance of the day during the freedom struggle.
आजादी का अमृत महोत्सव। Azadi Ka Safar with AIR News. India's glorious fight for freedom is one of the greatest struggles the modern world has ever witnessed. AIR News brings you a glimpse of the valiant struggle every day.
On 21st of October 1934, Congress Socialist Party was established by leaders like Jayaprakash Narayan and Acharya Narendra Dev. The success of the Russian Revolution had sowed the seeds of socialism in the minds of Indians during the 1920s and 1930s.
There was a lot of young population that was dissatisfied with the withdrawal of the non-cooperation movement and also with the nationalists' political actions. The ideologies were given tremendous push by star campaigners like Bhagat Singh, Jawaharlal Nehru and Subhash Chandra Bose.
Thus, in 1934, Congress Socialist Party helped organize peasants and workers in class organizations, promoted anti-imperialism, fight against poverty and landlordism.
Their momentum came during the Quit India movement, when Congress Socialist Party members participated in large numbers and kept the movement alive in the absence of top leaders, who were all arrested by the imperial rulers.
On the 21st of October 1943, Netaji Subhash Chandra Bose announced the establishment of the Provisional Government of Azad Hind in Singapore. It was known as Arzi Hukumat-e Azad Hind. The Provisional Government not only enabled Bose to negotiate with the Japanese on an equal footing, but also facilitated the mobilization of Indians in East Asia to join and support the INA.
कोई नहीं कह सकता है जिन लोग इस जंग में शरीक होंगे उनसे कितने लोग निकलेंगे जिंदा हो हम जिंदा रहेंगे या तो मरेंगे कोई बात नहीं है बात कोई सही बात यह है आम बात यह है आखिर में हमारी कामयाबी होगी हिंदुस्तान आजाद होगा.
Netaji proclaimed total mobilization. He said, "Time has come for 3 million Indians living in East Asia to mobilize all their available resources, including money and manpower. Half-hearted measures will not do. Out of this total mobilization, I expect at least 300,000 soldiers and 3 crores, that is $30 million.
With the formation of the Provisional Government of Azad Hind, mobilization of the Indian communities for armed struggle was stepped up. Many Indian civilians from Malaya, Thailand and Burma responded enthusiastically. Others contributed money and gold generously to the INA fund. The gold came mostly from women who readily gave up their jewelry, while wealthy Indian families donated large sums of money after attending Bose's rallies and meetings.
Other forms of contributions included clothing, foodstuffs, and other supplies that the INA could use. By April 1944, the Azad Hind Bank was established in Rangoon to manage the overwhelming donations from the Indian communities. He envisioned the Army of Liberation as the future national army of free India and exhorted people with the war cry, "Comrades, my soldiers, let your battle cry be Dilli Chalo," Dilli Chalo.
Under the provisional government, Bose was the head of the state, the Prime Minister and the Minister for War and Foreign Affairs. Captain Lakshmi headed the women's organization, while S.A. Iyer headed the publicity and propaganda wing.
Ras Bihari Bose was designated as the Supreme Advisor. Soon after the announcement, the provisional government had received recognition from various countries till its dissolution when Japan lost to Allied powers. Azad Hind Fauj was an imminent threat for the British might.
Shri Krishna Sinha was born on the 21st of October 1887 in Navada district of Bihar. Sinha played a key role in the success of the non-cooperation movement and the civil disobedience movements in Bihar. He was imprisoned several times and spent 8 years in prison.
Along with his participation in the independence struggle, Sinha also contributed as an able administrator and legislator. He served as a member of the Bihar Legislative Council in 1927. He was appointed as the Premier of Bihar province in 1937. Sinha later resigned in protest over the question of the British involving India in the Second World War without the consent of the Indians.
Sinha served as a member of the Constituent Assembly from the province of Bihar. In the assembly, he took active part in discussions relating to the objective resolutions. Post-independence, Sinha was appointed as the first Chief Minister of Bihar.
He was known for being the first Chief Minister of the country to abolish the Zamindari system, implementing river valley projects in Kosi, Aghor and Sakri, and also introducing heavy industries like oil refining and fertilizer production in Bihar. He passed away on 31st of January 1961.
That brings us to the end of this episode of Azadi Ka Safar AIR News ke Sang. See you in the next episode tomorrow.
Indian Meteorological Department issued orange alert for 8 districts in Kerala today, indicating the possibility of heavy to very heavy rainfall. Yellow alert is issued for all other 6 districts in the state, given the possibility of isolated rainfall. In the Men's T20 Cricket World Cup, Bangladesh will take on Papua New Guinea at 3:30 p.m., while Scotland will face host Oman at 7:30 p.m. in the group stage matches today.
Now let us take a look at the weather update for today. The national capital Delhi is likely to have a mainly clear sky. Minimum temperature was 18 degrees Celsius, while maximum is expected to be 32 degrees. Mumbai will have a partly cloudy sky. It recorded a minimum temperature of 23 degrees, while the maximum is expected to be 33 degrees. Chennai is expected to have generally cloudy sky with light rain or drizzle. The lower limit of temperature was 26 degrees, upper limit expected to be nearly 34. Kolkata will have a generally cloudy sky with a few spells of rain or thunder showers. The city noted a minimum temperature of 25 degrees, while maximum is expected to be 29 degrees Celsius. And now before we end the bulletin, the headlines once again. India achieves the major milestone of 100 crore COVID-19 vaccinations. Prime Minister says country witnesses the triumph of Indian science, enterprise and collective spirit of 130 crore Indians. President, Vice President, Home, Defence and other ministers laud the valuable contribution of doctors, health and frontline workers for the landmark achievement in vaccination. Prime Minister Narendra Modi inaugurates Vishram Sadan at the National Cancer Institute in Jhajjar, says government strives to offer world-class medical infrastructure facilities for the people of the country. President Ramnath Kovind addresses inaugural function of the centenary celebration of Bihar. Legislative Assembly building, says aspirations of the people should be taken care of and democratic values must be maintained. Union Home Minister Amit Shah reviews flood situation and relief work being undertaken in Uttarakhand. Minister of State for Home Nityanand Rai addresses the Police Commemoration Day parade in New Delhi, says India will never compromise on its sovereignty and security and those who pose a threat will be given a befitting reply. and Prime Minister Narendra Modi to share his thoughts with the people in the country and abroad in the Mann Ki Baat program on All India Radio on the 24th of this month. And with that, we end the midday news.